Hi everyone, good evening. It's nice to see you all of you here, and I can see many people here. We are going to discuss basics of English grammar today. All right. Um, so as we start the session, I would request everyone to please like this streaming session. Please tell me if everything is my voice is clear. Um, so as we start the session, I would request. Yes, good evening. So let us start now. Uh, Great. Somehow there is some. All right, great. So we will start the session now, and please send your questions here so that I can answer if you have any questions. Also, we will have some exercises over here, right, in this session because this is grammar, as you know, is quite a boring session. In fact, uh, it's quite theoretical. So what you need to do is you have to engage, you have to answer the questions that I asked during the session. All right. So now I will start the session now. Yes, Alina, Jyoti, Arisha, Shivani, everyone, good evening. So we'll start now. Yes. Okay, great. So welcome to the 28th episode of the Logophile Lounge. Um, Today we will be discussing basics of English grammar. The agenda for today is parts of speech, sentence construction, dependent clauses, and phrases, and we will learn how to construct sentences. Please understand that this is a basic English grammar session. This is not something uh, which is quite advanced. But though we will have this grammar session will be divided into 4 or 5 sections, right? 4 or 5 sessions. So we will be continuing this uh, with we have divided into uh, various lessons, you can say. So this is the first lesson. We have decided to start with very basic so that everyone who is uh, you know uh, who is looking to revise their grammar concepts, they can start with uh, the beginning, right? I get a lot of requests in my class that there should be some sessions in grammar just to revise the concepts. So that is why we have kept this session, right? So please note that this will continue for next few Thursdays, right? So right, so this today's session is quite basic, okay? There is a disclosure in a lot of classes. I incorporate my experiences. I cover that from things that I have seen, right? But today's session, I have taken a lot of concepts and examples from the internet, and especially from a book from Basics of English Grammar by S.J. Lawrence, right? Because and this is more of a theoretical thing, so I decided to pick it up and take it up from the internet. Some of the examples that I have presented here. All right. Please send your questions over here so that along with this, I can also answer your questions. Okay, so let me answer a few things. So, Jyotsna, it could be around 1 or 1.5 hour session. It should not go beyond 1.5 hours, I believe. Um, then Bobby is asking, I'm glad to part of this. Okay, great. Thanks. Welcome, Bobby. And thanks a lot. Nisha is saying, as a content writer, simple English language with clarity and brevity can work. Of course, Nisha, it can definitely work. In fact, this is what works today. Simple and nice and short, right? This is what works today. So, you don't, I mean, we can use technical language when needed, but it is not necessary that all the time you will use technical language. All right. So, great. Uh, So let's see, ingredient of a sentence, right? So I have compared this with a cake. So what is the ingredient of a cake? It's flour, sugar, eggs, and water. These are the basic ingredients. Of course, if you want to add more variety, you can add a lot of other things, right? But these are the basic things that you need to make a cake, right? Similarly, a sentence also has two basic things: subject and verb. A sentence uh, will always have at least these two things. Then only you can make a sentence, right? Sentences are quite simple things. Think of a sentence as a cake. It only takes a few simple ingredients to make a cake: flour, sugar, eggs, and water, as we saw. But you can also add all sorts of things to the cake to make it more interesting and delicious, right? Um, Similarly, a sentence only needs two basic ingredients, as we saw, a noun and a verb. So, for example, dogs run. Here, dog is a noun and run is a verb, right? Everything else tagged onto a sentence just adds information and detail. Another example could be dogs run around whenever they are let off their leashes, right? So, this is uh, you can see there are a lot of other information also here, but the basic ingredients will always be the subject and verb. All right. I have got some questions here that I would like to answer. So duration is maybe 1 to 1.5 hours. It should not go beyond that. Um, Praveen, yes, Vivek, everyone, good evening. Uh, Praveen, don't worry if your English is poor. You will definitely improve. Okay, work on things one by one, and you will definitely improve. So, yes, Prasant, I hope you got your answer. So, this is ingredient of a sentence. And the ingredient of sentence, this is what we study as parts of speech. All right. Uh, so everything that we study in parts of speech, like noun, pronoun, these are basically ingredient of a sentence. Some ingredients are essential, like noun and verbs, without which you cannot form a sentence, while others are like frosting and decorations. They add flavor, information, and characters. So remember that your sentence should have at least two things: subject and verb. Rest you add to add more information and detail to the sentence. All right. So um, now this is the ingredient of a sentence, the various parts of speeches. So we have taken noun plus verb, we have taken together because you know that these two are absolutely essential to form a sentence, right? Then we have these rest of six. Okay. We have got one question on how to make correct long sentences and maintain the meaning we want to convey, I believe, using connectors. Nisha, we have discussed that at the end of this session. We have, in fact, we have used uh, we have created, we have built long sentences just for you to understand how do we build long sentences. So, so these two are absolutely essential, noun plus verb. Noun is the subject and verb is action that we do. So it's like in any sentence you have two things, like one is the doer and other is the things that are being done, the action, right? Um, then we have pronoun. Replaces noun to remove awkward repetition. I hope all of you know this. I'm just repeating it. I'm just building a base to move slightly on a on a complex concepts. Pronouns uses replaces noun so that you can remove awkwardness of repetition of the same noun. Adjectives modifies noun or pronoun, right? When we have to modify any noun and pronoun, we use adjectives. But when we have to modify adjectives, verb, and other adverbs, then we use adverbs. Prepositions, as the name suggests, it describes relationship between words and ideas in the sentence, like positions. Okay, take it from positions. Conjunctions join words or parts of a sentence, right? And then interjections express surprise, concerns, and other strong emotions. I believe all of you know this, right? So let us discuss one by one. I will still discuss just to make sure, again, to make a foundation, because this will serve as a foundation for any concept that we will study in grammar. Ashish is saying, for which class is it from? I'm new, so for which class it is for? Ashish, this is not for some class. This is primarily for a basics of, the basic of a sentence, the parts of a sentence, right? We are studying this as a very foundation of the grammar lessons that we will do in next few classes and in next few sections, right? Um, okay, thanks, Dimitra. Thanks. I thought I got the answer uh, incorrect. Okay, so noun. So let us first understand noun. All of you know it indicate people, places, things, ideas, and emotions. Again, we are going back to third, fourth class. Examples: plumber, officer, lake, tree, boat, democracy, anger. So anything that we have, right? We that is indicates people, anything. Uh, we call it a noun. Nouns that refer to specific things are called proper nouns. Like any names are proper noun. Okay, we all know this. So let's quickly do this exercise on this exercise. So please identify the nouns in every sentence and send your words in the comments. Please answer all the questions at once so that I can see how many of you have got it correct or incorrect. So just identify the nouns in each of the sentence and then send me here on the chat. Okay, school and meal and school. Okay, in the first one, right? All right. What about the second one? Sham, school, and food. Okay. All right. The second one, I have got one incorrect answer. So please answer that. Okay. The third one, he wants there to be a menu in. All right. And all right. So, and what about the fourth one? Okay, Prachi. So I have got your answer. The midday meal, right? Okay. Schools, shams, salad, pasta, chicken, shams, students. Okay. All right, so I cannot see all the correct answers. So this is very basic. Still, we tend to make some mistakes. Yes. So okay. Um, let's see now. Let's discuss. Let's see the answer. The first one is meal and school. Right? It will not be midday meal because midday is simply modifying meal. All right. Then the school, it will not be local school, but simply school in the first one. In the second one, it will be Sham, of course, this we know, is trying to make a petition. I don't know how many of you have said petition. Anyone who said petition? I would like to know if anyone has said petition. Then board, not school board. Okay, because the board will change the food. We are talking about board. School is modifying it, so school board, it's like board, will change the food, right? Then, then menu. He wants there to be menu. Options such as salads, pasta, chicken, and fruits, right? This many of you got correct. Then the fourth one, students will be there. Usually agree with Sham. Students, Sham. And desserts, cheesecake, ice cream, and pie. Okay. Yes. Prachi, you had a question. We will include petition or not? Yes, we will include petition. Petition is a noun. Yes. All right. Uh, Ashish, this is first. Okay. Then, all right. So this is fine. Any question on this one on why we have taken any particular example as a noun which you think was not correct? All right. So options a noun. Many options. He wants there to be a menu with many nouns. Option is there are with many options. Options will be a thing, right? Um, it's it will be a thing, and that is why it's a noun. Petition and option. So petition is a thing that we are trying to do. So petition indicates something. Similarly, options also indicate something, and that is why these will be nouns. Then why board, only board, not school board? Because it is the board which is taking the decision. So the school board will change the food. We are highlighting the, look at the context and the intent. Where here we are saying the Sam is trying to make a petition. Now petition is a thing, that is why it's a noun. So the school board, the board will change the food, right? It is the board that will change the food. So that is why board is also the noun. Yes. uh, why we are not taking school in school board? It is so it is the thing. The final thing that we are saying is uh, the board, which one school is basically modifying. It's school board. It's not any other board. It's the school board, right? But it is finally the board which is taking the decision, right? And it indicating that school is more of modifying that board, that okay, it is the school board which will make the decision. That is why we are saying it will be the board and not the school board. It is just like here we say in the first case the midday meal. It is the meal that we are talking about. Midday is just modifying that. It's not evening or morning meal, it's midday meal. Why school board together? Well, it's like midday meal. It's just a modification. School is, we are adding there to modify that, and that is why we are not taking it. You can take. I mean, if you connect school and board with a hyphen, then both you can take as a noun. Vina, is that a question? Um, all right, or it's, I believe, a good suggestion or a question. So I did not get your question. Please correct that. All right. So um, now let's to the next one. Verb. Lokesh, I do not understand. Delhi Taj Mahal. That is the name, so that is why it's a noun. Okay. Verbs. So the most basic ingredient in a sentence is a verb. In fact, you cannot make a sentence without a verb. Verb has to be there, right? So action verbs indicate what is happening or being done. There are hundreds of different action verbs, right? So, in fact, thousands of verbs. So, action verbs like George eats candy. Eats is an action verb, right? It denotes the action, the things which are being happening. There are three types of verb: action verbs, linking verb, and be verbs. Linking verb, something which is, it's like an equal sign. It equals one part from the other. So linking verb seems George seems nice. Means George equal to 9. Although seems is a verb, it is a linking verb, right? Then um, be verbs also act as a linking verb by leveling out the sentence like an equal sign. It's now clearly saying that it's leveling out, it's making it is equal. So there are only 8 be verbs: be, being, been, was, were, is, am, and are, right? So for example, George is quiet. Is George is equal to quiet. So this is is. So there are three types of verb: action verbs, linking verbs, and be verbs. We call uh, be verbs are linking and be verbs are kind of equations. It creates one part, link one part from the other, whereas action verbs denotes an action, right? Remember one thing, that the more strong action verbs you will use in your content will become much better, right? Great writers, there is a difference between an average writer and good writers. Good writers use strong verbs, strong action verbs, right? Average writers use more of linking verbs and be verbs. Now let us do this exercise. And I saw there was some kind of, in the first exercise, it was kind of some confusion. So we'll go one by one. I want, you have to identify the verbs. So in the first sentence, please identify the verb and tell the answer. Just in the first sentence, not in the second, third, and fourth. Just in the third. The first is George loves baseball and plays it every day. Can you identify the nouns? Yes, please. Anyone? George loves baseball and plays it every day. Plays, Lisa, yes, correct. Dev Mitra is saying when to use linking and when to use be verbs. Yes, I will tell you. Uh, so, yes, Jara is saying loves and plays. Jaya, Suma, Amanjot. Loves and plays. Okay. Um, okay. Lisa, play. All right. Plays, love, plays. Okay, many of you are correct. It's plays it every day. Jatin, it every day will not be there. Okay, so Arisha, every will not be an action verb. It will not be a verb, in fact. Arpita love is saying loves and plays. Okay, right. So the answer of first question is loves and plays. Okay, so loves is a verb because that denotes an action, and plays is also a verb that also denotes an action. Great. Then the second one, his team lost the game last week, but George maintains a good attitude. Please identify the verbs in the second sentence. His team lost the verb. His team lost the game last week, but George maintains a good attitude. Lost and maintains. Okay. Reena, Jara, Surendra, Arpita. Okay, lost games. Arpita, games. Do you think games is Okay. Lost maintains Bhakti is saying that. Neha is saying you said in content that we should write action verbs. When writing, we prefer passive verbs. No, Neha, we use active action verbs only. Passive is not recommended. When do we also read that when do we use passive verb, passive voice? But no, we use action verbs. Jatin, okay, so most of you have given correct answers. This is, you were right. Lost and maintains will be the verbs in the second sentence. In the third, he believes that whenever he loses, he learns a different lesson. Yes, please. Now, in the third sentence, please tell the verbs. Yes, in the third sentence. Okay. Believes, learns. Okay. Prachi is saying believes, loses, and learns. Okay, okay, okay. Prachi, Navjot, Jara, Aditi, Jatin. Jatin, revise your. Please see your answer once again. Ayushi, Jaya, okay. Arpita, please see your questions once again. Please see the answers once again. Then, all right. Deepak, again, just Veena, you have to see your answers once again. Arisha. All right. So the correct answer is believes is a verb, loses is a verb, and then learns is also a verb. So there are three verbs here in this particular sentence, right? Then the fourth one, because he has such a good attitude, he is never a sore loser, unlike some of his teammates who only play to win. Yes, Abdur, it is very basic. So please, I said in the very beginning that today's session is really big for beginners. You may skip if you think you already know this. So please, all of you, you can skip if you know this is quite basic. It is basic. All right. The fourth one, please answer the fourth question. Because he has such a good attitude, he is never a sore loser, unlike some of his teammates who only play to win. Is because a be verb? No, because is not a verb. Plays, loves, okay. In the fourth one, sore, play, okay. Alright. Please understand that you have to select both, not just play, okay. All right. So has, yes. One I have got correct answer from Surendra. Yes. Anyone else? So in the fourth one, it will be has, then is, then play. Has, yes, Sarvani, you were right. Is, and then play. No, here win will not be a verb. It is to win, which is, gerunds and infinitive. We will study in the later class on how we change a verb into a noun. So here to win is a noun and not a verb. All right, so the correct answer in the fourth one is has, is, and play. All right, so this is has, is, and play. I will come to Okay. Any doubts in this one? Any doubts? Anyone in any one of these sentences? When is not a verb; it's a noun basically. Jaya, yes. When can be a verb also, but here it is to win, and that is why winning or to win. You know the concept of gerunds and infinitive. That is why it has become a noun. Okay, great, Jaya. You're all correct. Great. Right. Has is a linking verb. Sorry, be verb. So Jitendra, has is a be verb. Is, as we discussed in this, you will see that be, being, been, was, were, is, am, are. This is there are these are be verbs, and then you have has. These are also it works as part of uh, be verbs. Deepak, you were saying something. What is good attitude? Uh, Good attitude is not a verb. Okay, linking verbs is basically this is just a second. So linking verbs link, it acts as an equal sign, and be verbs is a kind of it exactly it tells you that uh, it's an equal signs, right? So it functions like an equal sign, and here it is clearly saying that one is a is equal to b, so a is b, and a seems to be b. That means it's kind of it functions more of be verbs. It is just that be verb is completely sure, whereas linking verbs it's more of links one part to another part. Play is a verb, absolutely. All right. Good is an adjective, yes. All right. So some people are saying that give more examples as we move forward of linking verbs. As we move forward, we will take some examples from the sentences and we will give more examples. Okay. All right. Then comes we will discuss this be verbs and linking verbs because I think there is some more examples would be needed. But just think of be verbs is kind of equal sign. I was there, I went there. It's like no, I went there become action. I was there, I'm doing this. All these are part of equal signs. It links one sentence to another sentence, and that becomes be verbs. Okay. Then comes pronouns. Pronouns can replace noun to avoid the awkward repetition of the same noun. Here is a sentence without pronouns. It's like I like my car when my car has just been washed because my car's bright red paint shines in the sun. Right? Now read the sentence with pronouns. Now this is my car, my car. You are seeing that it is being repeated a lot. So I will say I like my car when it has been washed because its bright red paint shines in the sun. So the pronoun it stands for in for the car to make the sentence less tiresome. So it's basically we just replace pronouns. Uh, we replace nouns with pronouns to make to make the sentence more smoother and clearer. Uh, Rather than it becomes a sentence becomes an awkward sentence when we keep repeating the nouns again and again. All right. So then let see this is there are different terminologies for pronouns. So we use four types of pronouns. So like personal pronouns, which basically denotes people, persons, I, me, mine, you. These are examples of personal pronouns. Then demonstrative pronouns. This is this, that, these, and those who demonstrate something. Then relative pronouns, which talks about in relation to something. So it's kind of who, whom, whose, which, that. And then indefinite pronouns, another, anybody, anything, everyone, nobody, someone, both, many, any, most, some. So this kind of, which is not definite, that whom you are speaking, it is not specifying a definite noun. This is an example of indefinite pronouns, right? So yes, it is also a pronoun. Okay. Um, all right. So exercise 3. Can you please identify the pronouns in the following sentences and just answer the first one? Finding good study habits is hard for me because I am so easily distracted. So please answer, please find pronouns in the first one. So, okay, Ayushi is saying me, I, okay. All right. Um, okay, so most of you are correct. It's me and I. Both will be pronouns. Okay. All right. I will also be a pronoun in the first one. Okay. Then comes any question in the first one. We'll go one by one because me is the answer. Me and I both are answers for the first one. Okay. All right. Please answer the second question now. It is even harder to study because I have a roommate who plays his drums all day long. The second one, who, okay. All right. So the second one is it, I, and who. All right. Okay, so most of you are correct in this. It, then I, then who, then his. All four will be the correct answers. Great. Okay. Yes, who is relative pronoun, right? His will also be there. Yes, his will also be the correct answer, right? Okay. Who is a relative pronoun? Who will be there? It's okay. Um, great. What about the third one? No, his will be, by the way, just his will also be a pronoun. So it will be, the final answer is it, I, who, and his, right? Now come to the third one. Please answer the third question. Anytime I start doing my work, he will suddenly start pounding away at them. Okay, so in third one, it's I, my, he, and them, right? Yes, okay, fine. Great. What about the fourth one? Fourth one. Okay, this is not going to work for me, but I am too shy to tell him to stop. Okay, in the third one, he, my, he, them. In the fourth one, what about the fourth one? All right. In third one, okay. All right. So in the fourth one, this is not going to work for me. This will be the answer, then me, then I, and then him, right? These four will be the answers, all right? So, any questions on pronouns? Now, let's come to the adjective part. These are the answers. Then, adjective part. So, adjectives are words that describe or modify nouns and pronouns. Okay. So, adjectives modify noun and pronouns. If someone says a car has been modified, you know it has been enhanced or dressed up. So, adjectives are also, they modify nouns and pronouns. Please remember this, that this is only for nouns and pronouns. In relation to nouns, adjectives usually describe which one, how many, or what kind. So, for example, it's like warm coat, red car, silly person, obnoxious child, seven cookies. So, it's kind of modifying the nouns or pronouns. Here, in case in this particular these examples, it is modifying the nouns. That is why we call them adjectives. Neha, it might last until 9:30. To a pronoun, no, to is not a pronoun. Okay, I think I missed some questions. In the third, Ayushi is saying in the third sentence, can we term any as a pronoun? No, it can be termed any. If there were, I might have missed that. If there is any, we place his terms, the third one. Anytime I start, yes, any will be indefinite pronoun. It will be a pronoun, all right? Yes, great. Thanks for noticing that. All right, cool. So adjectives. So any adjectives are what that describes or modify nouns and pronouns. So let's see. Let's do an exercise for adjectives. So now I have to identify the adjectives in the following sentences. The first one, the first day we went to Yellowstone was beautiful and sunny. Yes, adjectives qualify noun or pronoun. Now answer the first question. The first day we went to Yellowstone was beautiful and sunny. Yes. So answer the first question. Adjectives qualify noun. Yes, Nisha. Verb modifies adjectives, verbs, and adverbs themselves, right? Whereas adjectives modify just nouns and pronouns. So yes, answer the first question in the fourth exercise. The first day we went to Yellowstone was beautiful and sunny. First, beautiful and sunny. All right. In case of yes, correct answers first will be there. In the second one, please answer the second one. We saw a huge buffalo resting on the dusty ground and a brown bear grazing on a distant mountain. All right, the second one. Answer the second one. We saw a huge buffalo resting on the dusty ground and a brown bear grazing on a distant mountain. So, yes, huge, Suma is saying huge, dusty, brown, and distant. Resting on the dusty ground, brown, and distant. Okay, any other answer? Okay, this was quite. Subham, you've left one, rest are fine. Yes. All right. So, second one, most of you are correct. It will be the correct answer will be huge, dusty, brown, and mountain. Sorry, distant. Again, the correct question would be huge, dusty, brown, and distant. All right, the third one. On our way home, inky black clouds gathered in the sky and rumbling thunder shook our car. Yes, the third one. Please tell the third one. Inky black, okay. Resting will not be adjective. Resting will not be adjective. Jyotsna. Okay, the third one is inky black and rumbling. Yes, most of you are correct. Great. Fourth one. What about the fourth one? I did not know that such a peaceful day could turn so ugly and frightening. The fourth one. Adjectives are quite easy to identify, isn't it? Okay, so the fourth one. What about the fourth one? I did not know that such a peaceful day could turn so ugly and frightening. So Ayushi is saying peaceful, ugly, and frightening. Right. That is the correct question. The correct answer. Okay. So yes, for fourth one also most of you are correct. Any question on this adjective part? Any question? All right. In the fourth one, most of you are correct. Great. So let's move to the next part. The adverbs. So adverbs are kind of like adjectives, but only difference is that the adjectives modify nouns and pronouns, whereas adverbs modify verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. Adverbs answer the following questions like how, slowly, for example. In this particular case, soon will be adverb. Where, eat here. How often, let's eat frequently. And to what extent, we will eat enough. So enough becomes a adverb. Okay. So again, adverb is something that modifies adjectives, verbs, and adverbs. Remember that. Okay. So now let's move to the next part. In case of adverbs, yes. So can you answer these? The first question, can you identify the adverbs? Risha is saying, why not gazing in third one? Um, Risha, I did not get your question. So which one you're talking about? Okay. Adverbs. So in the first one, please. Yes, we will see how adverbs modify adjectives and adverbs. So if, for example, Jitendra, good is an adjective, and we say very good, that becomes you are modifying that adjective, right? So that is how Gita has written in Hindi lazily, okay? There is a creek that lazily winds its way behind my parents' house. Okay, right. First question, both of you, all of you are almost correct. The second one, it is home to many snails that stubbornly latch onto slimy rocks. Yes. In the second one, yes, Neha, it's stubbornly. Right. In the third question, whenever I walk down the creek, I usually try to avoid snails by carefully stepping around them. So, the third one. Yes, second one, most of you are correct. The third one is carefully, yes. In the third one, any other adverb? Yes, usually and carefully. By the way, there are some, I think, due to some internet connections, I am missing some questions. So, in case if I miss, please don't mind sending it once again in case if I don't answer any questions. Okay. All right. So, carefully and usually. What about the fourth one? In the fourth one, okay, the behind will not be an adverb here. It's way behind my parents' house. So behind will not be an adverb. It's mainly modifying the vines. Behind is not modifying something, so it will not be an adverb, right? Yes, Alankaran. Then Lisa is saying something. Excuse me. Yes, Lisa, please ask your question. Slimy will not be an adverb. It will be an adjective because it's modifying noun. Rock is a noun, right? Okay. In the fourth one, regrettably will be the correct answer. All right. Yes. So most of you are again correct. Sunanda, had it been modifying a place, we could have kept like this, but it is not modifying specially a place, right? In that case, had it been modifying something, then we would have given that, or that it's an adverb, right? Yes, in fourth one, sometimes will also be there because it's modifying. Sometimes crush a few. So regrettably and sometimes both will be adverbs, right? Let's move to prepositions. Why not so many an adverb? Jitendra, I did not get your question. Sentence 3, inky black rumbling. But Bobby, I think you were behind on some other slides. Jitendra, I did not get your questions. Ayushi is saying can sometimes be termed as an adverb because it's modifying the verb crush. Yes, Ayushi, sometimes will be an adverb. So many will not be. It will be if it is modifying. Uh, so what it is modifying? Just see that. Is it modifying a noun? So let me just see that. Verb so many. Which questions are you talking about, Jitendra? So many of them. No, no, it's pronoun. It's modifying pronoun, so it will not be an adverb. So many will not be an adverb. Sanjukta Sarkar is saying if sometimes it's an adverb, then why not whenever? Yes, this is an interesting question. So, in third one, whenever I walk down the creek, I usually try to avoid the snails by carefully stepping around them. So, whenever I walk down the creek, so it's in this particular case, usually try. So, it's an adverb of time. It is, we can say this is an adverb. So whenever will also be an adverb, right? Thanks for pointing out, Sanjukta, right? Whenever will be there. So many is because so many of them. So many is pronoun, noun or pronoun. So creeks, number of creeks. So right, that is noun, right, Jitendra? That is why we will not say. And in case of whenever also, the problem is whenever I walk down the creek, in this particular case, I mean, we can say it is an verb, but whenever I walk down the creek, it's again modifying I, right? So it's a pronoun. In third sentence, we will not say it's an adverb. Though whenever could be an adverb of time, but in this particular context, it will not be an adverb. Right? Yes, Neha, you are right. Each part of speech is quite lengthy. We are discussing only those things which are used in writing. We are not covering everything, and we are not going to cover Ren and Martin all the details. We are just covering a few examples to understand when we call something an adverb or adjectives or each part of speech. Okay, so let's move to the next part. We have to be careful about the time also. Please, if anything remains unanswered, please answer, keep that here. We will answer once again at the end. All right. Okay. Prepositions. Prepositions describe the position or relationship between words and ideas in a sentence. Review the following list of common prepositions and notice how most indicate positions in time or space. Um, Prepositions are always followed by nouns. This combination is called a prepositional phrase. So, for example, this is among the trees into the car, during my lunch break, from my grandmother. So, So in this case, prepositions, as the name indicates, it is indicating the position, right? So, and that is why we call it preposition. So it's basically we talk about relation between words and ideas in a sentence. Um, let's see the list of prepositions that are there. And I have seen a lot of people tend to make mistake in terms of which preposition to use when. Okay, when the difference between in and into, etc. In that particular case, I will say that we will cover this into adverbs specially. We will cover that into a different session altogether. We will have a different session for this preposition because it's really important to understand which word to use when. But just right now, for this understanding for parts of speech, just have a look at this. It's whenever you find a relation between words and ideas, we call them, we call that thing, or anything that relates between different words and ideas, we call that a preposition, right? So, in case of preposition, just these are some of the prepositions, list of prepositions, right? Um, let us see some exercise. We do this. Though again, I'm repeating this. We will cover this once again in a separate class. We will dedicate a separate class for prepositions. So, in the first one, identify the prepositions and write them into comments. The first one is last week my friends and I decided to get tickets for a movie premiere before they were all sold out. Dev Mitra, it's not you. A lot of people make mistakes in prepositions, and that is why we will cover this. Okay. Veena is saying the slides are not visible. Is that true for everyone else? It's not visible. Okay, so in the first one, please identify the prepositions. Okay, before. Aren't you missing something? I believe all of you are saying before. Please read the sentence carefully, see you are missing something. Visible, visible. Okay, visible. Jitan, you were talking about slide. Okay, all. Thank you very much. Thanks. Um. Okay, one for and before. Absolutely. Why beyond? If I'm correcting, if pronouncing your name correctly, then it's correct answer. So for, right, and before. These two are correct prepositions. And is not preposition. And is not a preposition, of course. And is not a preposition, right? Okay, so the correct answer for the first one is for and before, right? Then comes the second one. Despite the long line, we got our tickets, and last night we went to the midnight premiere. So, tell me here, what is this? In the second one, identify the prepositions. Jagriti, yes, for is a preposition. To, Sunny is saying to, okay. Jagriti, in the first sentence, it is connecting, connection relationship between the tickets and for the movie and movie, right? So that is why tickets for the movie, the connection between the two, relation between the two. That is why we've used for. That is why we say that for is also a preposition. In the second one, despite the long line, we got our tickets, and last night we went to the midnight premiere. So, yes. Despite and is not a preposition. What else? Despite is okay, despite is fine. There will be one more answer. And two, Suma is right. Suma, you are right. Despite and two. These two, one is despite, another is to. This will be preposition. Then the third one, we got to the theater 2 hours before the movie started since we wanted to get good seats. So please find out the preposition in the third sentence. We got to the theater 2 hours before the movie started since we wanted to get good seats. Jitendra, yes, to is a preposition. To is a preposition, right? Yes. Jyotna, last night is not a preposition. Hmm? Okay, please, in the third one. So, in the third one, we say it's okay. Sanjukta is saying two in the first one. I decided to get tickets. To get is it's basically it's not a preposition. Decided to get it becomes a noun, right? That is why it's not a preposition. Understand the context. In the third one, again we got to, so to will be a preposition. We got to the theater 2 hours before the movie, right? Started since we wanted to get good seats. Now, see, a lot of people here might get confused that I am saying here we said that we went to midnight premiere in the second question, and this too became a preposition. But in the first case, when we are saying I decided to get tickets, or in the third case, when we are saying we wanted to get good seats, why to here is not preposition? The answer is that preposition, when we talk about a preposition, remember that it is connecting, it is conveying some relation between two ideas or two words. Here we are in the second sentence when we are saying that, or in the first sentence when we are saying, I decided to get tickets. So when you are saying to get tickets, so it's to is basically related to get tickets, right? Get. It is not uh, conveying any relation between decided and tickets. Okay, it's simply saying to get ticket. To get becomes one word. Similarly, in the third one also, we wanted to get good seats. To get again becomes uh, one word, and that is why to is not a preposition. Preposition is always between two words. It connects or it has it conveys a relation between or position between two words or ideas. Okay. Um, in this, it is followed by a verb. Yes, absolutely, Ayushi, not a noun, right? Yes, preposition. There is one more condition for preposition is it is always followed by noun. So remember this thing to have a simpler, a clear picture of that. So then the fourth one. Let's go to the fourth one. During the movie, I fell asleep, but it was not that great anyway. Okay. So the fourth one. Please answer the fourth one. During the movie, I fell asleep, but it was not that great anyway. During the movie, no, during will be, do you think it's a preposition? During is not a preposition. It's not connecting between the two, it's not conveying any relation between the two uh, words or two ideas. That will be a preposition. So I fell asleep, but it was not that great anyway. So that will be a preposition. Okay. All right. So let's move to the next one. That, yes. Okay. So the next one is conjunctions. And conjunctions join. If you have any questions related to this, please give this. We'll answer that at the end because we are already about to finish this. Okay, it's already 9:10. So conjunctions join words or parts of a sentence. Two important types of conjunctions are coordinating conjunctions and subordinating conjunctions. Then, okay, so the coordinating conjunctions are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Use the word fanboys. So the initials of every word will be fanboys to remember these conjunctions. Okay. Then let us see these examples. I hate snowboarding, but I love skiing. So for is both conjunction as well as preposition. So here you say but is connecting the two words or two parts of a sentence, then it becomes conjunction. Then I have not seen the movie, so you are ruining it for me. So here connecting the two parts of the sentence, and that is why it's a conjunction. The word for can act as both a preposition and a coordinating conjunction, but coordinating conjunction usually we don't use for as a conjunction, but in some cases, yes, it's done. It's a conjunction which it means because or since a preposition all other times. The use of for as a conjunction is somewhat archaic, yes. So for we don't use these days, but yes, still it can be used both. Okay. All right. So conjunction, she left her coat for it was very hot outside. Prepositions. I wait. I waited in the lobby for 2 hours. Right. So for here you will say that it is acting in the first sentence. It is acting as a conjunction. In the second sentence, it is acting as a preposition. Right. So conjunctions are basically when we can connect two words or two parts of a sentence through a conjunction. That is why we use conjunction. Okay, during is a preposition or not? As a term, Sunanda, you do check the context. Uh, if it is conveying anything between time, space, or a relation between the two words, then we call it as a preposition if the context demands so. If the context does not is not in the form of like denoting a particular relation between the two words, then we don't consider it as part of as a preposition, right? We'll get back to it once again. We'll just see. Let's see this one. There are many subordinating conjunctions. The following list provides a few of the most common one. So these are some of the subordinating conjunctions. See, there are two types of coordinating conjunctions, subordinating conjunctions. We will see what is the difference, but just look at this one, these terms. So these are subordinating conjunctions. All right. Now notice how these words can join two parts of a sentence. I cannot go swimming because I just ate a huge meal. Or people had to look up information in the library before the internet was developed. When we look at these two sentences, because here is subordinating conjunction, because I just ate a huge meal, this is dependent on this one. We will just go in the next few slides, we will study this. Then when a sentence begins with a subordinating conjunction, a comma is used where the first clause ends. So we'll just see the next one, building a sentence, and then we will see this. So because I just ate a huge meal, I cannot go swimming. Or before the internet was developed, people had to look for information in a library. For now, to understand the difference between coordinating and subordinating conjunctions, just remember that we use coordinating conjunctions when the two parts are independent of each other, right? And we use subordinating conjunctions when one part is dependent on the other, right? So, for example, in this particular case, this one, you will see I cannot go swimming because I just ate a huge meal. So one part is dependent on other. So that is why because becomes subordinating conjunctions. We will just in the next few slides we will see differentiate this in a better way. So let us quickly do this exercise and then we will go ahead and see clarify certain doubts about coordinating conjunctions and subordinating conjunctions. The first one is you now you have to identify the conjunction. Sorry, there is a mistake, writing mistake here. Prepositions. It will be conjunctions. Let me in fact fix this one. This will be conjunctions. All right. Okay. So answer the first one. The library in my neighborhood has great librarians, but it is very small. But absolutely yes. In the second one, even though they have limited funds, they always hold fun events for the community. Please answer the second one. Even though, yes. Right, even though. It will be subordinating conjunction and it will be a conjunction. Okay. Then because the events always introduce me to great books, I always try to go and bring my family. Yes, the third one. Please tell the answer of third one. Vivek, they will not be there. They are pronoun. They is a pronoun, not a conjunction. Okay, so because, yes, because will be a conjunction. Then fourth one, Sanjukta, please mention the statement sentence so that I can explain the answer. In which sentence you were talking about? Okay, the third one is because. What about the fourth one? If the library receives more funds, they will be able to expand their collection. Again, these two are some mistakes I believe here. Just yes. If the library receives more fund, they will be able to expand their collections. So I try to donate whenever I have a little extra cash. There is again if and so. Yes. So if will be there. The correct answer in fourth is if and so. Correct. All right. So these are conjunctions. Then interjections. Interjections are used quite, less frequently. People don't use it, especially in formal writing. So it's express surprise, concerns, or other strong emotions. They stand alone or usually come at the beginning of the sentence. Interjection should not be used much, if at all, in formal writing. Common interjections are hey, how. These are interjections, and this is how it is used, right? Either just stand alone or first in the sentence. Okay, just quickly, again, this is just try to answer this one. Identify prepositions over here, interjections over here. Yes, identify interjections in the first sentence. Okay, Sajukta, you were saying in the last slide, for was used as a preposition, also as a conjunction. So, preposition, when it will be used for as a conjunction when it is connecting two parts of the sentence. Okay, and for will be preposition when it is showing a relation between two words. Okay, in the first one it is hey. What about the second one? Wow. Okay. The third one well, and fourth one is oh. Right. Yes. So most of you are know about this. This is fine. Great. Now quickly let's before we will just end this session in 10 minutes. But I would like you to take you through this sentence construction quickly. Though we will have a separate session for that. Um, so let's see this. Building a sentence. So let's have some fun building a sentence. Dogs eat. Subject and verb. As we discussed that we need just subject and verb to write a sentence, right? These are basic essential elements. Then let's add a little more information. What do dogs eat? So, for example, we are adding more information. Dog eats hamburgers. So now it becomes oh. Okay, sorry, I was reading the comment. So then it becomes object. All right. So subject is the doer, object is the receiver of the action. So in this particular case, dogs eat hamburgers. So dogs become subject, hamburgers become the object. Jagrati is saying, I'm sorry to say, I feel like the sentence is incorrect because it's first conditional sentence, and also when we use if, we don't need to use so, as one is dependent on the second one. Jagriti, we will just see. Look at the next sentences that we are going to do after this, and uh, it will be corrected in the next slides. Okay, because there are two slides there. If we talk about in these two, you were talking about this one. So, right. So if the library receives more font, they will be able to expand their collection, right? Till this one sentence is here, and then we are adding some more information through so. So I try to donate whenever I have a little extra cash, and that is why we have added more information by adding so. Okay, the sentence is complete. You can also make this like making a full stop at collection and so, comma, I try to donate whenever I have a little extra cash. You can do in that way as well. We'll just see in the next uh, uh, slides on how do we connect and add more information using conjunctions. Okay, so this is the object. We just saw this one. Then we will try to add, let us say something about what kinds of dogs. So now we'll trying to add, pronouns, adjectives, verb, adverb. We will see that. So we have just seen here uh, nouns and verb, dogs eat. Then we have taken, uh, this is again subject. Again, this is a noun. So dogs eat hamburgers. So here it's object. Then finally we are trying to modify here dog. Which dog? What kind of dog? So it is saying the skinny dogs eat hamburgers. So that is why it is taking, this is a adjective, right? Because we are modifying dogs. Then comes, now let's say something about how the dogs eat hamburgers. So it's kind of how they eat hamburgers. So we're trying to now modify verbs. In other words, let us describe or modify the verb with an adverb. So the skinny dogs eat hamburgers slowly. So we are now adding the slowly to modify verb, right? Then comes where does this eating happens? We can add a prepositional phrase that locates this sentence in time or space. So the skinny dogs eat hamburgers slowly at the table. So we are now adding this prepositional phrase or a preposition to locate this sentence in time or space. Okay, we are just trying, we started with a simple sentence and go on to make complex sentences with the help of adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, and conjunctions. Then imagine the next sentence in this line of thought looking like this: their owners don't seem to mind. The skinny dogs eat hamburgers slowly at the table, then full stop. Their owners don't seem to mind. Right? Now, these two sentences can stand alone as a complete thought. Okay? They can be two different sentences. A group of words that contain a subject and a verb and expresses a complete thought is called an independent clause. Okay? Uh, so now here the concept comes of, there is a concept of independent clause and dependent clause. We will just see that when we are saying any group of words, when they have subject and verb and they express a complete thought, it means they are independent on its own. If you just tell that sentence to anyone, and if they get the correct meaning of that, okay, complete meaning of the sentence or complete meaning of that part of the group of words, then it is called an independent clause. As the name suggests, it's independent, right? We can let these independent clauses stand alone as a sentences, or we can also choose to combine them with a conjunction. So you have two independent clauses. What you can do is either you can keep it simple and short and keep it, two sentences, or you can combine them using a conjunction, right? And now here we just saw that coordinating conjunction. So in this particular case, a coordinating conjunction would put the two sentences in a kind of equal relationship. When I'm saying equal relationship, it means both are independent of each other, they're not dependent. So here the skinny dogs eat hamburgers slowly at the table and their owners don't seem to mind. So here we are using and to combine these two independent clauses or independent sentences. In this particular case, the skinny dogs eat hamburgers slowly at the table. This is an independent clause. And the second one, their owners don't seem to mind, is another independent clause. And we are connecting them both with a coordinating conjunction, which is and. Then comes, if we added a subordinating conjunction, the second sentence would become subordinate or dependent on the first. That is where we discussed in conjunction about subordinating conjunction. So the skinny dogs eat hamburgers slowly at the table because their owners don't seem to mind. Now, when the moment we talk about because their owners don't seem to mind, now one sentence becomes on another sentence. It's now dependent, right? So if we just say because their owners don't seem to mind, it will not express an independent thought in itself. And that is why we call this one because their owners don't seem to mind is a dependent clause because it does not convey any uh, independent thought on its own, right? So note because becomes subordinating conjunction, right? So there are three types. There are clauses and phrases. So independent clauses group of words that contain subjects and verbs and make complete thought. They can be constructed as independent sentences. Dependent clauses group of words that may contain subjects and verbs but do not make complete thought, and that is why they cannot be constructed as independent sentences. And phrases, a phrase is a group of related words that lack a subject, a verb, or both. Phrases can never stand alone as a complete sentences, right? So now let us quickly see this. Let's add some more information in our sentence. The skinny dogs eat hamburgers slowly at the table, and their owners don't seem to mind as long as they use good manners. Now we have used this more, and their owners don't seem to mind as long as they use good manners, especially when dining with guests. So this phrase comes at the sentence, especially when dining with guests is a phrase. Then we can add some more information about the owners now. The skinny dogs eat hamburgers slowly at the table, and their owners, Pat and John, don't seem to mind as long as they use good manners, especially when dining with guests. So, with by putting comma, we added the information about the owners. Then what we can do is we can add more information about guests. So the skinny dogs eat hamburgers slowly at the table, and their owners, Pat and John, don't seem to mind as long as they use good manners, especially when dining with guests visiting from foreign countries where things like dogs eating at table is considered unusual and even impolite. So we added this phrase once again. This is the phrase visiting from foreign countries where things like dogs eating at tables is considered unusual or even unpolite. Um, This is a phrase, right? We have added at the end. So the lesson from this exercise that we did just right now is that the basic elements of any sentence is subject and verb. What we do is we add more adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, and conjunctions to either add more details or mix two sentences to make a complex sentence. But remember, always your objective should be that you should be able to you should form short and simple sentences, right? That is the best way uh, to make your readers understand your methods. Convey that is the best way to convey your methods to the readers, most effective way, right? And but then, if you want to practice this, just keep adding more information through uh, adverbs, prepositions, and conjunctions. You can, and phrases, of course, you can use phrases to add more information in detail. In the next session, when we will do subject verb agreement, we will understand this exercise was important for you to understand how do we identify different parts of speeches. This will be especially useful in understanding subjects and verb. When you understand subject, what is a verb, because a grammatical correct sentence, you will be able to write grammatically correct sentences only when subject and verbs are in agreement. That we will do in some future sessions. For now, I will keep it here. I think I have missed certain questions because there is some internet connection also issue where I see a lot of questions coming on from previous slides. So it seems to be I seems to be missing certain questions. So if I have missed a few of the questions, then okay. So that's all from my end. I believe that I missed certain questions. You can ask me right now if you wish, if you have any questions, because there was some internet connection issue. Plus, if you want to practice more, do let us know. Those who are in the class, you will be getting some practice exercises also, so that you can practice it more and understand better. This exercise will particularly be useful in understanding this, identifying when we will do subject verb agreement, right? When you will, if you want to write more complex sentences, or if you have a habit of writing lengthy sentences, then first try to have this sentence construction, do some exercises to form complex sentences using conjunctions, prepositions, so that you develop a habit of writing correct sentences. That is more important, right? There could be some confusion related to prepositions, like this is this a preposition or not, in that part. So please do ask me. Okay, I will try to clarify that. With practice, you will get to know. So please don't feel bad if you miss any part. This is something that you will feel confusing, especially in case of prepositions. You may feel like that, but we will keep doing some exercises so that you get better with time. Yes. All right, then. Thank you very much for joining us. We will again have a session next Thursday. Until that time, we'll meet some of you in the class also on the on weekends. Yes. All right, great. Please like and share this video. All right, um, and subscribe to our channel. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining in. Sanjukta, please send us an email. You will definitely get the practice material. All right, thank you. Now I'm ending the session here. Please like this class and spread the word by sharing the video link. Okay, thank you.